Hey, welcome back to Pretty Rich Podcast. We had such an exciting topic last time with so much to say, we had to make a part 2. But hey, if you missed part 1, you can always click the link in the description box and watch that first. Now, let's continue the discussion with part 2. Welcome to Pretty Rich Podcast, and I am joined here today with my besties. We have Julie, Laura, Alisa, and we've all worked together in some form or capacity. We've worked together for years, on and off, and on and on, and then some let's just like on and on and on.
You guys probably more than 10 years.
More than that.
Oh my gosh. So crazy. So if you are a business owner and you've ever thought about like, well, I get along so well with this person. And so like this person's been in my family. She's been my family friends for so many years. You know, we've hired family friends and they're not on this couch, are they? It's not always, peaches and rainbows and puppies, right? So it doesn't always work out. And so we're going to talk about the nitty-gritty today about like the good, the bad, the ugly, about, working with friends and like what actually does make it work.
So I remember that, you have this policy, like an open door policy, and your office
This house?
Well,
This house too. We don't
the
require
house, but the office, the
Yes.
office. So like your door was always open. You've always, said that we can come to you for anything. Like, we don't have to be scared or like hesitant to like, give ideas or just say anything if we have concerns, questions, and whatnot. So, and obviously, like you're one of my best friends. So yeah, I just felt open enough to just communicate that with you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what happened.
There might be business owners that might be like, I have an open door policy. I encourage open communication. And I want to invite you to look at, if you're not getting that back, where are you not? Where are you not? Listen, I'm obviously not perfect, right? Like, so even like when I have team members that are like, well, I just felt like I couldn't come to you. And that still happens. That's totally my fault. It's not always 100% my fault, but like, it's easier for me to just accept fault and see like, well, where could I have been better? Right? Like, where could I have been better at that? Maybe like I didn't recognize this personality type enough where I could have like shown that like, no, really take them, like shaking them by the shoulders and be like, you can come to me. You know what I mean? It's like, there's some people that just need a little bit extra. And I do, take responsibility for that. I do own that, Laura and I both do. I want to invite all of you like business owners and bosses who are leaders of any team, whether it's one person or 2 people or like 15 people, to consider like, where are you not presenting yourself accurately? Maybe you feel that in your heart, but like how you feel is different than what you might look like. And that's totally valid. And that's totally something that all of us struggle with. All of us, even with our partners, right? It's like, no, I didn't feel that way. We, Laura and I had a disagreement with my mom today. And it's like, we presented ourselves in such a way that she didn't interpret, even though like we genuinely felt one way. Well, how we were presenting ourselves were a completely different way. And that's our responsibility. That is, we have to own that. So it is being a sharper sword, especially when it comes to managing talent, managing emotions, managing teams. You have to be that way.
And I like to add to that. I think sometimes what holds us back is being afraid to lead with honesty. And every time we're afraid to lead with honesty, we're holding back, and it doesn't allow that other person to really see our vision and really see where we're coming from. And that limits the result or the outcome of how that conversation's going to turn out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we did with your mom. We're like, we really didn't know. We really didn't know. Honest to God.
No, really.
You're only human.
Yeah. So if you approach things in a way where you're really setting things clear and honest, there's really no way of things turning bad, obviously, unless the other person's just not seeing it. And then that's when you can be like, that's okay. We're not aligned.
And that's okay too.
That's
It's
okay
like,
too.
and that's like more of a loss, not a betrayal.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I would invite you guys to consider all like
Yeah.
splits to be losses and not necessarily betrayals, because even a
Yeah.
betrayal, you ultimately uncover that you're just not aligned with your values. And not just values, but like their goals just didn't align with yours. And that is just,
Yeah.
that's not because they like hate you
Yeah.
or something like that. It's just like they just want different things for their lives. And it's a disappointment because you had different expectations. But like,
Yeah.
even if things turn ugly, I just want to invite you guys to lean into compassion, lean into empathy, put yourself in their shoes and what they might be going through, and what would you want for your life if you were that age, you were in that situation, you were in that time, you were in that, that pay range, right? With your talents, it's like, what would you want? And even if you feel like, well, they're making a mistake, like people have to go through it. They just have to. And you might be wrong and they might be wrong, but it's just lean into compassion. It's like, we don't freaking know. We're just like pieces of clay and we don't know what the heck the potter's doing. So yeah.
Business owners, stop what you're doing. Look at your calendar next week. Monday, no clients, $3,000. Tuesday, another $2,000. Wednesday, another $5,000 maybe. That adds up. Have you ever stopped to think about how much money you're losing every single day, every month, every year with a calendar that's not fully booked? It's time to take action now. Let's build your sales machine. Book your free strategy call today. Just click below to find out more.
I have a question. How do you guys balance the boundaries between your personal and professional lives and ensuring that the work-related discussions or concerns don't overshadow your friendships and family?
Well, my answer to that is with Laura, I think it's the same. I'm only answering for my relationship with Laura. I think Laura and I just have the same goal. And I think it's about like finding that person. And it's like, I just want to say, like, when we went to Amsterdam and then we were reading Naval's book, and then we talked about his definition of retirement, not the world's definition of retirement. Like, his definition of retirement is when you wake up and you enjoy everything. You just like enjoy everything. When people ask me,
Like work doesn't feel like work. And so
Basically.
you leverage your knowledge to be able to be something that you love.
and you're able to be yourself.
Yeah.
And like when you're in it for the game, for example, like Tom Brady, like, that person just won't retire, right? Until recently. Why? Because he loves the game. Does he need more money? No. So like when you found something where it's like, I just really want to do this thing. I just really got to figure out this video game. I got to really figure out this puzzle. I got to really figure, like, that is the definition of retirement. And we were on the plane and you said like, yeah, I feel like this. I feel like this. And I was like, oh, we're on the same boat. Like, we just love this game. We just like really love this video game we're on. Is this Mortal Kombat? Is this Street Fighter?
Street Fighter.
It's like, we're just like really want to figure out the game, right? And it's just like fun. And it's almost like this like game that will take like years to figure out, but it's such a dopamine hit when you like crack the code. So as far as like balancing your question, Alisa, like balancing like that work personal relationship, when you hit blessing, and it's like the purest form of blessing is when you're so aligned that you're like the game. It's like the game, which is like happens to be like money's a byproduct of the game. But then it's like it's actually like personal, and money is actually just a byproduct. It's not even like you just like you're in love with the game. And like, that's very rare. And I found that with like, with you and like with a bunch of people on our team they're just like in love with the game. They can make money doing other things, make the same amount of money. But what is it? Currency comes in many forms. It's not just like the money. Do I want to, be on cold calls every day or work at a law firm or work at a hospital or something like that, or like work with like, like depressing situations, making the same amount of money? I probably could do that. But like to be in doing this, figuring out this puzzle, like with your best friends and people you actually enjoy being with and like laugh with all day, and also like be in the trenches with the community, right? And you guys have the same goal. That is blessing.
That's literally a beautiful thing of working with friends that you know that you align with, because you're able to identify with them and you're able to really separate those lines of friendship and business. But if you feel like you're just bringing on a friend because you feel sorry for them or because they're going through something difficult, then most likely those reasons, it's like you're starting off a marriage on the wrong foot.
It's pity. It's a pity hire.
Yeah, it's a pity hire. So that's what you have to be careful of. And going back to what we were talking about, I think that's why we're able to maintain these friendships and business without getting messy, because we all align with our core values. And that really is the reason why we have to be protective of those things. And not just bring anyone on to our team that doesn't align, because then that's when things can just get messy.
Absolutely. And because the lines are so blurred, like an emotional investment is like inevitable. Like we're probably gonna get a little attached to you.
I've seen an arc though in how you've hired, because I've been there a long time from the beginning.
Yeah. Have you seen us grow?
Oh, yes, I have. I mean, in the beginning, can I be candid?
Yes, absolutely.
She would hire anybody.
Oh, they were
She
so
hired
sweet.
anybody. Because I have to say, Sheila is easy to talk to. She's easy to get along with. She's easy to party with. And she would just hire some girl in the bathroom if she found somebody interesting. And I mean, honestly, she will become friends with them because she finds a similarity. This was Sheila, like what? 10, 12 years ago. Is she that same Sheila? No, she's learned, because honestly, I feel like over the course of those like 10, 12 years, you've learned from how to hire, how to fire, make mistakes, learn from them. And that's the difference, is that she's learned from these mistakes. She's had to fire family. And I was like, that is hard. And, and to be betrayed as well. It's hard. Not just by family, but by friends, betrayal. And it's that loss that she's had to go through. It's emotional. It's a roller coaster, and it's draining. I'm kind of grateful that I'm not the CEO. That's why I've never strived for that, because I just know in my core, it would kind of break me, and it doesn't break everybody. But the thing is like, she's been broken, but then she kind of just repairs and builds it back up. So, and that's her personality. It's like she's endured, and she has this, fighter instinct, this lioness type of quality that you're able to not only lift yourself back up, but you lift others with you. You do. You lift others, and you're able to make somebody into something better, a better version of themselves.
Really,
Really? Oh, you guys are so nice.
Push me out of my comfort zones. Like an hour ago, I would not be sitting here doing a podcast in front of cameras right now.
I was just saying, you guys, tell it, send us a DM if this is true. Alisa was like, what am I doing on here? And I was like, listen, there's going to be girls that watch this, and it's just going to be like, they're going to look at me and they're going to be like, no. They're going to look at Julie and they're like, no, that's not me. They're going to look at Laura and they're like, almost, but not quite. But they're going to look at Lisa and they're going to be like, shh, that's her.
Okay, so I was about to have
That's
a panic
me.
attack before
That
this,
girl
so
is
just
me.
know.
All right, I have an animal for everybody. Can I give everybody their animal?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I want to know.
Yeah, because there's actually is this like animal personality test. I think we may have taken it.
I didn't take it.
Oh, you didn't take it.
think
This is all a guess,
go
but
ahead.
I'm
It's a Julie animal
assuming.
personality test.
I'm
Go
assuming if we all took this, and I'm guessing right now. I'm guessing right because none of one. I've
see.
taken it. I'm gonna say there is 4 animals only in this category, and each of us are a different animal. So we literally fall in different. And now, by the way, you could have a secondary animal, but so I do have 2 animals, but I'm going to only do primary right now.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with Sheila. I've already told you what your animal is. You're the lion.
Okay.
You're the lioness.
Mufasa. Ooh, do it again.
What's the female in
Nala.
Nala. She actually did have a symbol in a Nala. Is that too telling?
Sarabi.
Sarabi.
That's the mom.
Sarabi,
Yeah.
Sarabi.
Simba
You're
and Nala,
Sarabi.
and then Mufasa and Sarabi. Anyway, that's just telling our Disney knowledge. Okay, so we have the lioness, and we have the otter. The otter. Okay, the lion. I love otters too. So here's the thing.
That's why we like cuddling with
explain? I have to-
Julie. She's the cute otter.
I have to explain because it is like, like that's exactly what you guys know as these animals. The lioness is the leader, okay? I don't have to say much more than that because they're the leader, they're the pushers, they're the ones that get stuff done. The otter is the playful, creative, and the friendly, also kind of knows how to work things and encourage. But mostly you see otters and they know how to use tools. They know how to. They use tools on how to on get their food. They break their food on rocks.
They make nests. They make
nests and they're
that's true.
nurturing because they nurture their young. And anyway, so those are otters. I'm an otter. We have Laura, who's the beaver, the worker, the one who's really good at getting stuff done. And actually, the beaver builds things. She's good at building groups. She's good at putting people together and classifying.
I see that.
And good at working at problems and stuff like that. And she can solve a problem. I'm not talking about math, more so that I'm talking about situations. She's good at problem solving. Building relations and people. And she even put us in like categories. Like she can seriously put people in working groups and make it happen. So beavers are problem solvers and they're builders and stuff. And so, and I don't want to just say you're a mathematician. That's my husband. He's also a beaver. But there's different forms of beaver. Now, then we have Alisa. Alisa's the golden retriever. She's the friend. She's the one who comforts. She's the nurturer.
Oh, that's so good, Julie.
And she's also the one that will also be there for you through thick and thin. So
so good, Julie.
my secondary. Can you guess my secondary?
What's your secondary?
Can you guess?
The golden retriever.
They're golden retrievers.
Yeah.
So okay, what would be?
Doodle. The golden doodle.
I do have a golden doodle named Doug. So what would be your secondary, do you think? Now that you've heard each and every one, what's your secondary animal, do you think? I think personally the otter.
Otter, definitely.
Oh my god, the way they carry
We are just opposites in certain ways a little bit. Like we're close, but just like switched.
Yeah.
And then what would be your secondary?
I think I'm a baby lion.
A baby lion.
Yeah.
She's the cub. Yeah, the lion cub.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nala.
Yeah.
And then Sheila, what's your second? I think you're part otter, actually.
I'm a puma.
You're a puma. She's just all cats. You're just all lioness. Oh my god, that's not in my category.
No, it's not. It's out of the categories. What do they call them?
What?
What do they call those like old ladies who date young men?
Cougars.
Oh yeah,
Cougars. They called me a cougar. I'm like, no, you have to be at least 10 years
no, I'm
older.
not a cougar. I'm a puma.
She's a puma. A puma.
I don't know why.
I actually did make a puma song, but we don't have to talk
Oh sure, yeah. I don't. Yeah, they're all great. I feel like
you have to have
a
a secondary.
second, just one.
Just one.
Snow
Yeah, that's what a
leopard.
second is. Is a
Snow leopard. That's a cat.
No, I
I think beaver. Then
You're
if
a worker. Yeah, hard worker.
Well,
you have a
to
playful
be at
side
some
as
point. I mean,
well.
It used to be just.
You're
Laura
not
and
all
I.
work and no play. Come on. You like to play.
I have a little bit of everything though. I don't know.
Everybody has a little bit of everything. Everybody,
Yeah.
but you have to have like
You
a
have, like, a
primary and a
dominant,
secondary.
So I'm a lion, golden retriever, beaver.
I know, Mom. Are your employees unmotivated and underperforming? Did you know that we train teams? All you need to do is apply for a strategy call. Just go to sheilabella.com/apply to learn more.
Okay, great.
Next question.
Next question.
All right. So I have another question for you guys. What advice would you give to others who are considering working with close friends? And what are the key factors to consider when entering such a relationship?
Oh,
what
you
advice?
have to have a prenup.
A prenuptial
Especially
agreement.
a prenuptial agreement. You got to have a prenup. You have
That's
to
how
understand.
Sheila got me.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so
Did
like
we
if
have a
this doesn't
prenup?
work out, like like
How are we
the
going to die?
chances of you actually like going, like going in a nursing home together and still working at the same place, it's like pretty low, right? So like something's gonna happen, and in the event that does happen, you have to have a prenup. So what does this look like? How much notice do you want to give? Like, so it's like it should be on paper, and also it should be communicated to that person. Like, okay, I'm relying on you this much. If you ever have plans on, exiting or something like that, and like, like you need to give me like plenty of years.
Yeah. And not just that, but really, what are you expecting out of this?
I think the expectation thing, I think it's like you have to be frank. You have to be frank. Like this job, I'm gonna stay here if it makes me $500,000 a year, or if it makes me like, like what is the expectation? And also, I think it's really important that, okay, well, if you want that, you gotta make sure the company can like, make
Yeah.
that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you have to be like in it. If you are gonna decide to work with any close friends, you have to have like impeccable communication.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
have to be already having uncomfortable discussions with this person about them. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a good indicator for that. And if you're not, I'm not saying don't take them on. I'm saying understand that this person is probably not equipped to have difficult conversations all the time. Don't expect too much.
Yeah, and then I think that's what we've learned along the years is that before we didn't have those parameters with people
Mhm.
that were around us, but now we're like, okay, we really need to make it clear that even though we're friends, this is what the business needs. This is how you need to show up. This is what you need to do, because then in whenever people do take time to train people, obviously there's a grace period of learning and getting up to that expectation, but when they fail, it's like they're able to accept that they didn't show up to that role or they didn't do certain things.
Yeah, ownership is important.
Ownership, yeah, and that's why that's one of our pillars actually, and
Ownership.
part of Pretty Rich Bosses now is having people who take ownership, because if you're not responsible for what you're not doing or for what, yeah.
You have to have that self-awareness. I think more than just ownership, like even deeper than that, at the core of it all is self-awareness. It's like you can't just like ask for things that you didn't create. Like you didn't contribute to. So it's like it's a self-awareness, because that is very uncool. Let me just say, like, it's uncool. Like, why would you ask for something that you didn't help create? Now, if you help create something and you ask for a piece of that thing that you help create, like, amazing. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, yes. Like, that makes sense. And that would make sense for any life situation, just life situation in general, right? You're not just like handed those things.
Yeah.
So self-awareness is very cool. And it is something that we absolutely, undeniably can't ignore, and just like we have to bow down to it to some degree, because it's like so rare and it's so cool.
And I think what's really hard for business owners is to admit that it really comes down to you, because if you're able to lead by that example, like for example, one time we've hired someone that we were aware of those expectations. We knew that person was going to make us a lot of money in a short term, but it wasn't going to be a long-term thing.
We knew.
Yeah, we knew. So it's
Character
like
was question mark. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
we
but
got like 9 months maybe.
Yeah, but we knew that person was fit for that specific
sprint.
For that specific sprint of a time.
Yes.
So if you want your friends or your team members to show up in a certain way, you have to lead with that same expectation. Otherwise, it becomes muddy. And that's what a lot of people go through, because they hire friends who are in a situation that is muddy, and then you're in a cloudy space too, and it just turns so ugly. So if you're able to show up as a leader that's self-aware, that's honest, that's showing up for the business and has the business in mind first, then you know how to set those clear expectations with you and your friend. And so that is what we've learned across time.
Yeah.
And I think you need to learn how to separate business from pleasure and know when to wear two different hats. Because if you're actually being a friend and then being, I would have to say, in your position, whatever that may be, whether it be the CEO or the employee, you have to know where you are in that tier. Where do you align into that category, into the structure of the business? And you need to fill that role, because if you're trying to be bigger than what your role entails, you're going to start stepping on toes. You're going to start causing conflict.
Respect.
You have to respect the position that you've been hired for, that you've been given. If you start abusing privileges because you are close and best friends with the CEO and best friends with the CEO, and your CFO was somebody who raised you from when you were 12. I mean, come on, you have to understand that where you are in the company is different than when you take off that hat that says you had a bad hair day.
Or because when we're celebrating Easter, celebrating Thanksgiving together.
When we're celebrating holidays, that's not business, that's pleasure. That's friendship. When we go on retreats, that's a business, get to know you. When we go on vacation, that's do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Yeah. And what stays in, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's one of those things. Right. So you have to have the ability to wear two hats. If you choose to develop a friendship with your CEO or have a pre-existing friendship with your boss. Those are two different things. You can develop a friendship with your boss and have it be a long-lasting friendship. I've seen it happen. Yeah, and you have to remember what Alisa has done. Until the day you leave the company, you have to wear two hats. So remember that. If you're going to end up working for a friend or hiring a friend, you have to know when to separate business from pleasure, business and friendship, because you talk to one another with respect and dignity. And ultimately, you will end up always maintaining that friendship in the end if you continue that.
I just wanted to add something. So, so like when you're working with your friend, when you're at work, you are working. And if you want to have, some friend time, you can, call that person up, like say, hey, let's chat, let's hang out, let's have a designated time to actually hang out outside of work and just be friends or just do girl things and whatnot. So it's just when you're at work, you're working. When you're outside of work, then you're just hanging out.
Yeah, we do that. Remember when we're like, oh, let's go clubbing and have a wild night. That's our intentional. We don't talk about work. Yeah, that's our intentional moment to
What are you doing?
Get wild.
I don't want to hear about this tonight.
Get drunk and have fun. But when Monday through Saturday, Monday through Friday, we're just like,
good morning, Sheila. Here's your itinerary.
Literally.
You're doing this, and this. And I'm like, I hate you right now. I hate you so much. Okay, thank you, Laura. Have a nice day.
I hate you so much right
now. Yeah.
Hey, it's Sheila Bella. I just wanted to say, if you like this type of content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you never miss another beauty business video. And guys, I want to know exactly what it is that you like. So if you have any beauty business questions, leave it in the comments so I know exactly what questions to answer. Back to the channel.
Okay, just people who get it. Listen, this is work
don't
related.
Hire people who
this
don't
is
get it.
Paycheck related, yours and mine. So let's talk about it from a very non-emotional, what does this need, not what does this feel like. What does this need type lens. It's a lens. It's and the thing is, it's finding people who understand that. Right? It's just common sense people. Honestly, it's just common sense. And it's just who are aligned with I want the business to succeed. Business succeed, I succeed.
I love it when you succeed. Yeah. It makes me feel good. Like I was a part of that.
And you are.
I am.
Check out
give
check
her-
out Julie's edits on YouTube and on
Let's do
Pretty
30
Rich
seconds
Podcast.
of evil laughs. Go.
Seconds is a long time.
Abs are hurting.
I can't do that for 30
All right,
seconds.
guys, that's a wrap for Pretty Rich Podcast tonight. It's 10 p.m. on the West Coast. So for some of you, it's 1 a.m. Thank you for tuning in.
Don't wake up.
Hey, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Pretty Rich Podcast. If you haven't already, hit that bell icon and click that subscribe button so you never miss out on the latest updates. Remember, I'm always open to hearing your thoughts, ideas, and takeaways, so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. See you next time, and thanks for watching.